Hello YouTube, Hunters12 here. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Rough Rider Baby Texas Toothpick in jig bone. Now, the Rough Rider knives are a very nice little brand from China that make traditional slip joint knives and a few locking knives as well. They all look really nice, and they are all at a very low, reasonable price. And the quality is also really good. The box that this came in was very nice. It explained a little bit about the history of the name, which is Rough Rider, which you can look up yourself, and also gives it a little bit of a sort of history as well, sort of a company history as well. And now we're going to open up this box and have a look what's inside, but first I'm just going to talk about the front. I really like the cover of the box. It's very vintage and has a very sort of western feel. Now, let's go inside. So here we have the actual blade, and my first impressions were the size. I realised that this was very small when I looked at it online, but I didn't really sort of get an idea of quite how small it was until I opened the box. I'll just tell you now, it's absolutely tiny. The blade is under the length of my pinky, and the handle is sort of the length and similar thickness to my ring fingers, and my fingers are absolutely huge. So that just gives you a little bit of an impression of the size. It was shaving sharp straight out of the box, and after some use the 440 stainless steel began to dull, and I decided after a couple of weeks that I wanted to sharpen it. I did. The bevel of the blade is large enough that you can easily sharpen it, and the steel is soft enough that you can sharpen it quickly, and I quickly got it back up to a nice standard and haven't really had to resharpen it in the 3 or 4 months that I've actually owned this knife. And now the philosophy of use for this knife is definitely an EDC blade that's very sort of pocketable. Now, one thing that you will find is that when you're carrying a knife, there are 2 things that you want. You need it to be small and light so that you can carry it around without having it bulking up your pockets. And also, another thing I always like is if the blade and the knife as a whole look quite sort of friendly. Now, this is a very traditional looking knife, and it's the sort of thing that your grandfather might carry. It's just a slip joint, not a locking blade. It's very small but can handle a lot of good slicing tasks because the sort of blade length has a very nice sort of straight bit and a very sort of short belly that is just sort of isn't very big. It's quite sort of flat all the way along and comes to a nice point, which can be used for sort of opening boxes and other tasks. Now, the handle has a jig bone effect, which I'm assuming is made out of some sort of resin, and the bolsters are made out of some form of nickel, some sort of nickel alloy, I think, and they came mirror polished, as did the blade. Now, the ergonomics are quite nice on just a small little knife because of the shape of this handle. That little curve there fits around your fingers very nicely, and your palm can fit around that curve there, that belly there, quite nicely as well, making it a good little knife to hold on to. It doesn't slip very easily, and it's just a really great little knife to hold on to. Now, the jig bone actually has sort of a 3D effect to it as well, which aids gripping as well. So the ergonomics are pretty good. The value is also excellent because the blade is of good quality, runs nice and smooth. The slip joint sort of lock is quite sort of smooth. The spring isn't too strong, nor is it too weak. It's just going to open and close constantly. The fit and finish is great, the knife looks great, it cuts great, and for £7 it doesn't get really that much better than this. So this is a great little knife. It's a good little sort of companion to have on you. And there are a lot of things that your smartphone or PDA or whatever can do for you, but there are also a lot of things that a good little knife like this can do for you, and I would recommend one of these to anyone for EDC use. And I look forward to buying another Rough Rider knife to have a little collection going, because this just has a really nice quality to it. So thank you for commenting, rating and subscribing, and have a nice day.